Welcome to Subramani. This is a video being made for the distributor or the MFD who's trying to, or even the RIA, who's trying to find out how much the client, talk to the client, and it's very easy to think that you can just go and say, tell me how much you want to invest and can we start from tomorrow. It never happens that way, right? It takes a long time, long period of time to establish that relationship. And this is how you start when you're being introduced, or you know that person. You say, oh hello, what do you do? And what you do looks like small talk, but then he also should know what you are doing, or she also should know what you are doing. So you go and say, oh, I help people create a pathway for retirement, or I help people educate their children, so I put together amounts of money. So that those are far better than just say, I do financial planning. It's too vague. People don't understand. Financial planning means, do you help people borrow money? Do you help people invest money? Do you help people with taxation? All this is too vague. For a person, finances means one box, and you say, I do one portion of that box, right? That's what you're doing, because you may not be able to give any great advice for credit cards. You may not be able to give much advice on credit score. You may not understand enough about taxation to be able to engage with a business person about taxation. You may know something about investment taxation, right? So explaining what you do is very important, but explaining what you do takes a little longer than to find out what the client does. So when he says that he's working as a vice president, or when she says she's a doctor working in she's a gynecologist working in a leading hospital, you may be able to gauge how much he or she is earning. Though I can tell you that when the person says he or she is a doctor, it's very difficult to gauge. But yeah, this is so that is a good indication. Then the second question is, where do you live? If you have lived in a city like Mumbai, you know which location, what would be the price range, and so you also will ask about how many people in the family. So what does your spouse do? So, oh, my husband is a vice president in so and so company. So you know how much he should be earning, or he could be earning. What are the children doing? Which school do they go to? That reveals a lot, because when they go to a more expensive school, spending about ₹1,00,000 a month, then obviously they're spending say 25 lakhs a year on education alone, and that's not very uncommon these days, right? So if children are going to IB school, obviously they're spending more. So what do you do? Where do you live? What school children are going to? Which car do you drive? So yes, I drive a Zen. I drive an Alto. It's going to look very different from saying, oh, last year I bought a Mercedes for 75 lakhs. That is obviously going to evoke a different response. You know where the client is getting at, so if a client says my monthly expenses are 5 lakhs, and I'm 2 years away from retirement, you know that the client needs to put together something like 20 crores for retirement. It's not your fault or the client's fault that the client requires 20 crores. It's simply because the function that if it is going to be 5 lakhs per month as expenses, that is 60 lakhs a year. So 60 lakhs into 30 is about 18 crores. So you got a couple of years to go. So you build 21 crores. That is the kind of formula that is in your head saying, now if he says 50,000 per month, you're going to save 1.8 crores. If he says 5 lakhs per month, you are going to save 18 crores. It's not whether 5 lakhs is high or 50,000 what he should be spending. I'm not getting into value judgment saying, oh, he's so rich, he must have provided. Not true. There are people who are spending 5 lakhs per month and don't have that kind of provision which you think they will have. So you now know what he does, you know where she lives, you know what kind of vehicle they drive, you know what kind of school the kids are going to. So these are all what looks like small talk, but it is not really small talk, right? So then a very great question, where do you play golf? Which club membership do you have? What are your hobbies? It reveals a lot. If he or she says, oh, we have a yacht, then you know they're different. You know they're playing golf at a particular club. Then you're saying, okay, this is the club, this is the membership fees, when did you buy the membership? So these are all points which reveal, and then end of it, if the client says he's spending 5 lakhs per month and things like that, he cannot or she cannot come out with a figure saying I want to do 5,000 rupees per month SIP, then which means there is a lot which that person is not revealing to you. After saying that he or she plays golf here, the annual vacation they took was in Europe or in US and all those things, and they tell you that they take at least one foreign trip once in 2 years, you are able to estimate their overall standard of living without asking what is your CTC. These are enough indicators that the husband is earning so much, wife is earning so much is being spent on the children. Children are today in class 7 and class 11 or class 7 or class 9, you know, so and they are going to an IB school. Very, very good chance if the kid is going to an IB school that he will or she will go abroad after class 12. Right, so or maybe even after class 10. So you need to be prepared. I mean, the client needs to be prepared for all that. You need to be prepared for saying all that you know you'll require so much money for an Ivy League education. This is not a family which is playing golf, driving a Mercedes. Is not going to say, oh, we are going to study in Bombay. Very, very unlikely. So it's very easy to predict these days that everybody wants to go abroad for studies. The only question is, should I go after for my undergraduate or should I go for my postgraduate? That's the only question that people seem to be asking. Everybody seems to be headed out. I am not passing value judgment, but that's a fact of life. Also, some cases they go because they think that it's a good place to go, like a friend's son who passed out of IIT with very good marks, worked for 2-3 years, and now he's planning to do, and he's already gone abroad to do his MBA from an Ivy League school. But there are others who go abroad because they can't afford. But you are not here to pass value judgment. Here you are to just collect what kind of standard of living do they have and what kind of money do you think they will require for retirement. That's your job. So it's easy for an older IFA or an MFD to go and ask straight away, what's your CTC? But for younger people, these are all indicators as to what all to ask, right? So then are you a part of Rotary, are you a part of Lions Club, are you, those kind of things again reveals what kind of person that person is. And so what kind of charities do you associate yourself with? You already know what are the hobbies. If one of the hobbies is flying a plane, which club do you belong to? Again, those are all points which are here, which look like small talk, but they're gathering a lot of data for you. How have you fallen ill? Do you have parents whom you are supporting? Where do your parents live? And so maybe his monthly expenses of 5 lakhs you feel is too high, but maybe 2 lakhs is being spent on his parents, whereas father is bedridden, his mother is not capable of looking after him. She's 75 or 77. She needs help, so there is domestic help there. Then there's a nurse for his father. So all those things are contributing maybe 2 lakhs to the whole expense, and their own school fees is contributing 2 lakhs. So then you feel, oh, then it's not too high. So unless you get the breakup, you don't know what all to provide for in his old age. So or on that family's old age, because the parental expenses which are today taking up the chunk may not be there after some time, or it may go down, or it may come out of the parents' portfolio at some stage. You don't know all that, or he may be inheriting something from his parents. So all those things, all that data points, all those data points are useful for you when you're planning the client's annual the total portfolio. You're in the first meeting, you're trying to gauge what the client is doing. So what kind of events do you go to? What kind of functions do you attend? What kind of charities are you associated with? All these questions, which each question looks like a small talk, or which game are you interested in, which means you can talk more about cricket or any other sport that you understand and the client understands, or if it's a sport which you don't understand, maybe you'll go home and read up about it so that next time you could talk. What are the children doing? What are the children's hobbies? What are their plans, right? All those things All this is what looks like small talk, but it is something which you are gathering data. You should be processing all this in your head while paying attention to what the client is saying. Maybe you make notes with this, and so that you go home and estimate how much the person needs, because there's no point in giving an answer across the table saying you need to save so much. It doesn't make sense. So just collect data. Thank you.